All right, so I'm Ronnie Rocha. I go to UT Austin. I'm a computer science major, fourth year. And
My name is Juan Sequeda. I am a first-year PhD student at UT Austin, but I also got my undergrad at UT Austin in computer science.
okay, so I guess the start off question: what got you into computer science?
I think I was very fortunate to be in CS because of my parents. My dad worked for IBM and Seagate for 30 years, so I was always all around computers.
Okay.
I had my first computer maybe when I was the age of 7. I've had my first Hotmail account like in 1994, so I've been around them, and I've just been fascinated about just knowing that this machine can do smart things.
Okay, so you've basically been growing up around them.
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's a little different from me because I didn't have like my first computer until like freshman year of high school, and then started getting really interested, in going into college. What pursued you or what's been inspiring you to go to grad school and get a PhD in computer science?
So when I was doing my undergrad, I was reading. A friend of mine gave you an interesting article about something that's called the semantic web, and I read about this and I thought that it was fascinating. It was a very futuristic article, and it was just amazing for me to see that this could be something that could happen. So I actually started doing a little research, and little by little I got interested in this problem. So during my undergrad, I did undergraduate research and hooked up with a professor, and actually did really good things. Got some papers published as an undergrad, and that inspired me to continue wanting to do that same research with that same professor at the same university. So actually, when I was finishing my senior year, I only applied to UT because I knew that I just wanted to work on this problem that I already knew that I liked, and I would have some progress on it, and I really liked my advisor. So I only applied to UT for my PhD, and unfortunately I got in, and I just found a problem that I liked, and it's a gem.
Yeah.
The chair of our department, Jay Moore, always says, and I'll never forget this, is that all sciences are like beaches. So you go to the biology, to the math, or the chemistry, and there's just like holes all over the beach because these jewels have been picked up for the last, 500 years. But you go to computer sciences, and it's such a new science that there's jewels all over the place, and you can just bend down and start picking them up. So it's like such a fascinating field because there's so much to do.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can just pick up these jewels on the way.
Yeah, I love that analogy. The way everything's so fresh, anyone could come in and take something new.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's interesting because whereas most people going to grad school, they're not sure what they're going to do, and then they find their subject while in grad school, whereas you figured it out before you actually.
But I mean, there's different ways. There's so much to do, so you don't know maybe that an area that you like, or maybe you like an area, but there's so many different problems in that area. So it's like you're overwhelmed with all these things, and I think that's great. I mean, I think that's even better than trying to figure out a problem because it's so hard to find.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to point out, a little personal note. If it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here at the Tapia conference because you're the one that started the ELA Alliance at UT, the first student chapter.
Yeah, so ELA is the effort of Dr. Richard Tapia to help diversify computing in majority schools. So I met Dr. Tapia like 2 years ago, and initially 2 years ago, I was aware of this diversity issue. My first question to him was, what does underrepresented minority mean? And I started to talk to him. I realized that this is a very interesting issue, and I'm part of it. And I want to be part of the solution. So 2 years ago, we went to the Tapia conference, and there were 8 students. This year, we have 22 students here at the Tapia conference. And so I realized that we need to have a student-run organization for minority students. And so that's what I started at UT, just making the first chapter of ELA. And I'm glad you're part of ELA.
Yeah, it's definitely changed things. I could tell, not just me, but other students. I never really considered. I don't know why I never considered, grad school a possibility, just because being a minority, and seeing you do it, it's really, it's very inspiring.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, what I've realized is that we have a lack of role models.
Yeah.
In minorities in top 10 schools, for example, who are Hispanic or African American professors at top 10 universities. You can count them with the fingers in your hands. So if there aren't, why? It's because there aren't in grad school, in top 10 schools. I'm the only Hispanic PhD student at UT right now. So why aren't there or minority students in PhD level? Well, because in the undergrad they don't apply to grad school. So why? Well, because they're not aware about research and doing all this stuff. So it's this whole pipeline issue that we want to get retention and maintain the students and get them aware about, hey, there's other things that you can do, like research, and it's big, and you can be really cool.
So if there was someone that's on kind of borderline, not debating whether to actually go to grad school, minority, what would you specifically tell them?
Well, first of all, grad school and research is not for everybody, right? It's definitely perfectly fine to go get a job. I mean, for me, for example, I was going to go to UT or was going to get a job. I just didn't want to go to some school to get a PhD. I wanted to go to UT. So, but if you're interested about grad school, I mean, definitely, I would say first, you have some topic of interest. You like AI or you like security. Read about these things. And try to find a problem that you find interesting, and you say, hey, this is interesting, hasn't been solved. And if you really see that this is something you like, talk to professors in your university who work in this area, and try to definitely get into some kind of research and have that experience. Try it out for a semester, for a year. I mean, if you don't like it, well, that's something good. Now you know something you don't like, but maybe you didn't know and you discovered that this is something that I like and you want to continue it. And it's just, it's such a cool feeling to know that you're working on a problem that a lot of people can be working on it, but it hasn't been solved. Mm-hmm. And it's so rewarding when you actually do find solutions, or you take a step in something, you're able to write a paper, do that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's so rewarding to do something that's unique.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you very much.